Hi, so welcome to another video from Innovation Visual. As you probably know, I'm Tim and I'm the founder and CEO. And in these videos, we like to share knowledge of what's going on in the digital marketing industry. This video and more like it can be found on our knowledge hub, which is innovationvisual.com/knowledge. So today I'm really pleased to be joined by, I'd say, a friend as well as somebody that I've worked with for many years, Sagar, and he is from Scommerce Mage. And why don't you tell us a little bit about Scommerce and what you do, because you're a leading light in e-commerce, I think it's safe to say.
Yeah, thank you very much for the. Hi, I'm Sagar, director and founder of Scommerce Mage Limited. We specialize in e-commerce, and the platform we use is Magento.
Great. And how long have you been working with Magento? Because I've known you for quite a few years in the industry.
So I've been working with Magento since 2008 beginning, so when they launched their first version.
Yeah.
So I've been working
Wow, right
then.
from the start then?
Yeah, right from the start.
Brilliant. So you must have seen a lot of changes over the time.
Yeah, it was ups and downs. It's as you know that all the platforms have ups and downs with their grades and stuff.
Right.
So I've seen all of it.
Yeah. So I appreciate you coming in today to the Innovation Visual office. It's a bit of a jungle, as you can see in here. What I wanted to do today was talk to you about e-commerce development, the importance of e-commerce development, and very specifically the Magento platform, because we've got quite a few clients on the Magento platform, and actually you now work with the majority of those as well. And I think a lot of people watching this video would be interested in understanding more about Magento, but also the importance of technical development on e-commerce when it comes to performance digital marketing, which is obviously what we're involved with. So just to kind of kick off, what's the problems that people come to you with when it comes to Magento websites?
I think there is, as you know, that e-commerce, it's always have some sort of problems depending on like who is working, who worked on your website. A lot of customers come to us with speed issues, especially because in a SEO world, as you know the best, is that speed is one of the major criteria to make sure that the on-page SEO is working well.
Yeah.
Google also give more importance to the sites which are working really well in terms of speed. So I think that we have seen that the trend is more like they want fraction of seconds the websites are loading. Nobody talks about like, oh, my site is loading in 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 5 seconds. People are talking about milliseconds. They want most important pages like home page, category pages, product, and search result page. They want the quick results, and user experience should be like very sleek and nice, and they should see that it's easy journey. Even the checkout as well. They just want to flow. And very similar to like if you have online used Amazon, it's very sleek. You just click on a product what you want, and you just want to check out as quickly as possible, and that's pretty much experience people are looking for nowadays.
So you're like a Magento troubleshooter.
I think
team.
As I said, like there are challenges in every platform you use. If you know what technology and what tech stack you can use correctly to overcome those problems. It's just that's the way I see it, that you can solve a lot of problems. You will see a lot of people are talking about, like, to be honest, I think you name any platform, the people are talking about there is a problem with the platform, or it's slow, or it's not working as they expected, all that sort of stuff. But those sort of problems can be overcome, when you have people.
It would be more of what we call a picnic problem in chair, not in computer.
Yes,
where
exactly.
They've got the right platform, but it's not being used correctly.
Properly,
So you can help people use the platform correctly.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So what kind of load times are you actually looking for? I know I'm getting a bit granular here, but are you target sub 2 seconds or even quicker than that? What's
I think
the kind of thing?
what we are targeting as well, that a lot of caching mechanisms are available nowadays, and most of the people, out of the box you get built-in cache, but we are talking about the major pages can get it under 200 milliseconds.
Really?
Yeah. So I think what we are talking about is just making sure that you're using right amount of caches. Like there is a front-end cache, there is a back-end cache, then you have CDN, then you have merging of CSS, merging of JavaScripts. You can compress them, you can offload them.
Yep.
There is a lot of things you could do to make your site run faster.
Yeah, there's a few phrases in there which we'll have to add to our digital marketing glossary for those people that don't know what a CDN is, which is Content Delivery Network, and those caching things. So that's really interesting. So you are literally going for those millisecond gains to get the performance improvement. So in terms of the Magento platform, and obviously the fact that you've been using it for 12 years, which is incredible, because I know there's a lot of agencies that purport to be experts in technology, but you truly are experts. You also build actual components for the Magento site. Can you tell me a bit more about those?
Yeah, I think 2008, when the whole recession came to the world.
The old lightweight recession. Financial crisis.
Financial crisis, yeah. And at that time, the Microsoft was really popular. They were selling a lot of ASP.NET platforms. There was a commerce server. I don't know whether you remember that time or not. It was really popular in the market. The only downside was it was commercially very expensive. You need to buy commerce server license, you need to buy .NET license, you need to buy SQL server licenses, and all that sort of stuff cost you a lot of money for that. So at that time, what I was trying to find is that what all e-commerce platforms out there. So I looked at CubeCart in 2008, and then also looked at OS Commerce. Magento was one of the platform in the list. Yeah. And it was very new because it's a US based platform, and I was in UK, and there were a lot of things which we need to make sure that it is more usable and more we can sell it in UK. Yeah. And that was the big challenge, because it was fairly new and it was more targeting towards US market than the UK market. Yeah. So I started the components bit is to do payment integrations first. Okay. So SagePay, CyberSource, ComIdea, these were very popular payment gateways in UK, but they were not that popular in US. Right. So I started out, building extensions from there, and then after that, I just thought that it's a brilliant idea, and then I've just. I think if you go on our website, we have almost 200 components. 200? Yeah, but I have done probably like 800, 900 components in my whole 12 years. Yeah. So
wow, that's a lot. Well, and the other thing is it's the confidence when people go on the Scommerce website and look at those plugins. They know that you've had your hand in. I would say a lot, if not the majority of those those extensions. So wow, 200 that they can choose from. I know that our clients use a lot of your extensions, particularly because we're so big on data tracking. The enhanced e-commerce, that's a great plugin, and also the SEO plugins as well, because the Magento platform's not bad out of the box for those areas, but it does need those extra functionality.
Yeah, so you talked about the SEO plugins, like agencies like you and then other agencies out there. We have worked very closely with them, and then just try to find out what is the best practices out there, what we need to incorporate in these extensions, which will give you above what Magento offers you out of the box. Yeah, it's not that bad from SEO point of view, but there are a lot of things which could be better. So we basically come and chip in to build those components.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, in the discussions with our mutual clients, you've been very responsive, incorporating feedback to enhance those extensions and actually enhance the functionality, which is taking extra levels of performance for people. Yeah. in your your time working on the Magento platform, it's matured hugely, and now it's owned by Adobe. And I remember back when Adobe bought it, there were a lot of people concerned about what Magento would become, if you like, from its roots of being a real community and something that people really seized upon. So, what have you seen since the Adobe purchase, and has that been positive in terms of Magento?
I think it's quite positive, because if you look at Magento 2 itself, most of the upgrades are done by community itself.
Yeah.
There are around 300 developers out there who actually use Magento today, and they are contributors as well.
Right.
It's just amazing to see a lot of features coming in. They are not only just relying on community, they are also relying on bigger players who have been doing email marketing, or they are doing payment integrations and shipping methods and all that sort of stuff. So you will see out of the box, those are already being added in.
Yeah.
For example, the Klarna integration is a part of Magento as well, and then Dot Digital as well is also part of Magento 2 platform. So it's going in the right direction.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything which is different what they were doing before.
Yeah.
I think
they've kept true to
true, exactly, yeah. So, and then they keep on developing their commerce platform as well. So which is for more enterprise level clients. If they want hassle-free, you can opt for commerce platform as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite an expensive.
It is very expensive. I think it's around $18,000 a year.
Right, so just for the license.
Just for the license,
before you get out of bed.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, what I think a lot of people watching this video would like to understand, because there's been the big shift now from Magento 1 to Magento 2.
Yeah.
First of all, do we know what the timeline is yet for Magento 1 support? How quickly people have got to get off Magento 1 if they're on it at the moment?
The timeline was 6 months ago.
Right.
Probably not that long, but on June 30th this year they stopped doing Magento upgrades.
Right.
Magento 1 is completely like end of support from a Magento point of view.
Yeah.
So I would say that if you are still on Magento 1, just quickly
you literally need to pick up the phone to your developers.
Yeah, I think the downside of just keeping yourself in Magento is too risky. Probably the lack of PCI compliance, because there are no security updates or any patches coming from Magento. Of course, there will be no features coming in, and most of the extension developers, ourselves as well, we are more focusing on Magento 2 extensions than Magento 1. So you will see the trend that either they are not supporting it, or they are not going to build it, or there will be no new features coming on. So I think overall, I would say that if you stay on Magento 1, it's a risk of hefty fines, because GDPR law is very strict in terms of securities and stuff, and even the payment gateways as well, right? They will be, probably be able to not support you going forward. So I would say that just as soon as possible.
Huge business risk then if they haven't moved already, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's loss of reputation as well. It's not just the vulnerabilities and stuff, but it's your reputation as well.
Yeah. So hopefully people will have already thought about putting some plans in place, if not already moved from 1 to 2. And another thing though about e-commerce is that as businesses change, what is best for the business also changes. And Magento as a platform is seen as for like mid-size and big players. If a company looked at Magento, when it was Magento 1, and they're now considering what to do with their e-commerce platform, can you explain some of the changes between Magento 1 and Magento 2? Because if they considered Magento 1 before when they were making a comparison, they might not be aware of what Magento 2 can do. So can you explain some of those?
Yeah, so I think the question, it's a very good question, because if you look at the history of it, why, you would ask like why people, even talking about Magento 2 and why the company is thinking about Magento 2. I think Magento 1 architectural wise, it wasn't fit for purpose in terms of the scalability.
Okay.
So if you are a small scale, medium, and probably a little larger, you will be okay.
Yeah.
But if you're enterprise level client and you want to scale it, you won't be able to scale it because the database was bottleneck in that architecture space. And
so you couldn't go enterprise with a Magento 1 because of the architecture of that database?
Yeah, so you just bottleneck is you can't scale databases. So you know that you probably have heard of the technical jargon like clustering.
Yeah.
So you can cluster your servers, you can cluster your databases, but that wasn't possible in Magento 1 at all.
Right.
And then the technologies they were using were really outdated as well, and they couldn't change Magento 1 unless they re-architect the whole thing.
Right.
And that's why Magento 2 came in. So if you look at Magento 2, they have introduced loads of stuff. So they are using, popular front-end technologies like Less and Knockout.js. And from the caching point of view, they are using Redis, Varnish, from the caching, which is out of the box, which wasn't there in Magento 1. And then also on top of that, they are using queuing system like RabbitMQ for searching. They used Elasticsearch. There's a lot of new stuff you will see technology-wise. It's already adapted in the platform, which makes life easier for people who can just get off with the platform and they don't need to worry about whether how can we achieve something, which was very challenging in Magento 1, especially even for developers as well. If you are using a platform which does not support out of the box like a caching mechanism, which means you need to make it compatible. There are challenges you need to do, which nowadays people don't need to worry about it. You should be just download it's there, it works, it's tested, and all that sort of stuff.
So they've basically future-proofed Magento 2 way more than, I suppose, when Magento 1 was built, they may, it was a brand new product, they might not have thought of those architecture challenges anyway, and they ended up going down that route, and they couldn't change it, as you say, without completely re-platforming. So now Magento 2 is actually a much more scalable, much more powerful system because they've learnt from the previous version and they've now got a really powerful version. So in terms of what that means to an e-commerce manager or a marketing manager, if they're looking at platforms, if we look at a comparison with, say, maybe they're on WordPress with WooCommerce, heaven forbid, but we still see a lot of it. I mean, we see some fairly big numbers coming through on some of those sites, but what would you say to that person about that comparison between, okay, you're running your site on WooCommerce, this is why Magento 2 could be the better solution for you?
I think I would say that it depends on what their end goal is. If they want to be do not want to expand their business, they don't want to go multilingual, multi websites, and they don't have any future plans for growing their website. I think they, as I said, you have Shopify as well, you have WooCommerce. They all serve the purpose of you can sell online. But it depends on how nowadays people are not just talking about just selling online. They're talking about user experience. They're talking about the features on the website, personalized products to show to people what they're interested in. All that sort of stuff matters a lot than just having a shop online website there. So I would say that if you really want to change the game, you need to be on the leading platform. And you need to just make sure that you are choosing the right platform to make sure that your site is there for expanding.
So for specifically for something like WooCommerce and that's sitting on the WordPress thing, you're saying that people will basically run up against the buffers in terms of what's possible. So if you're an unambitious company who doesn't want to grow and doesn't want to expand into new markets, then that's great. You just stick with just knocking out a few bits and pieces, but don't expect to grow. But what you're saying is you've got this headroom effectively to allow you to grow with Magento.
I think it will help you because, as I said, there are 300,000 developers out there who basically support Magento. There are almost 1,200, 1,300 companies who are actually technically supporting the platform, and there are a lot of companies like us building extensions, third-party integrations, and all that sort of stuff. So it will definitely help in the business if you have a right platform. Then you don't need to worry about too much, like technology-wise, whether there is a risk or not.
Yeah. Okay. What would you say in terms of if I'm the marketing manager and I'm trying to make that that justification for the spend to re-platform? Where does the ROI come from? So if Magento is a more powerful platform, what does that actually mean in terms of, is it going to be faster, get found more in search, then get more sales that way, or is it because you can be more flexible with the user interface? How do you, because you develop a lot of sites and you re-platform for people, you take them from another platform to Magento, and you must see the performance metrics. Where do they get that money back effectively if they're going to spend on a development? Where do they get that money back?
I think, as I said, there are, nowadays from a SEO point of view as well, the speed matters, the on-page technical stuff matters, like, whether it's H1 tags or, the elements are not nested, and, image all tags, every technical aspect of it, it matters, from a SEO point of view. Because if you think about, like, you have a platform where any search engine is struggling to crawl. It doesn't matter how wonderful your site is, it doesn't matter how much money you spend on it. It doesn't matter how much, social media and digital marketing you're doing. If the platform doesn't respond, well, then it's not going to sell. So I think especially I think out of the box, Magento might not give you unless you have expertise to know that, what they're doing.
Right.
So I think it is important that, don't just go with just saying that, okay, we'll get Magento and it will solve all my problems. There are, as I said, that there are technical stack being given by Magento too, to work on them. And then plus, as I said, that we have built a lot of plugins on top of Magento. Having those sort of things all in place, it makes a difference.
So it's not just good platform, it's good developers, and it's also good vision for what your user experience wants to be. And you need the three of those things in order to deliver that ROI and that change.
Definitely.
Okay, that's really interesting. So, if you've got a e-commerce and marketing manager will be watching this, what would you say to them as the top things, if they went away from this video and they went and did one or two things to help deliver more results from their site or from the development, what would you say is the thing that they should do?
I think the key thing for me is, and it's very trendy nowadays, is just making sure that your speed. Again, like, I know I said that 3-4 times, but it is very important. It's not only from a search engine point of view, it's from a user experience point of view as well.
Right.
If somebody is searching on your website and it takes like 10 seconds or 20 seconds, they are going to just not stay on the website, and they will just go off your website to your competitors. So, I would say that if you really want to do something on the existing website, concentrate on speed.
Okay, so speed, because it impacts user experience, it impacts organic rankings, and if you can, you can just lose to your competitors because people don't want to wait these days.
Exactly.
Okay, I get that.
And the other thing I would say is mobile design as well. So just make sure that responsive, because nowadays people are just doing more online shopping using tablets and mobiles. Just make sure that your website is optimized enough for those two devices as well.
Built for mobile rather than built for desktop and shoehorned into a mobile device.
Definitely that.
Okay, so I mean, it's interesting actually you say that, because I've seen clients before that have spent very little time on their own websites. When we started talking to them and engaged with them, they haven't really thought to spend that much time on their own sites on a mobile device, because they look at it every day on their desktop or their laptop. And they're like, oh wow, mobile is so crucial, isn't it? One slight small tangential question, if you like. I've got to get you to explain what Elasticsearch is for those people that don't know what Elasticsearch is.
I think Elasticsearch is it's a very different platform altogether. So they're just basically a component you can use to define your searches. For example, like just to give you an example, if somebody's searching for a brand and then they put a keyword alongside with it, so you can prioritize that, whether I want to give more priority to the brand itself, or you want to give priority to the product name or description or whatever the attributes you want people to search on. So there are a lot of things you could do. You can also create synonyms on the keywords. And it's clever enough if you type something like
a
misspelling or stuff like that, it will correct and still find the results and stuff like that. It's really powerful.
So it's because as consumers we've all got used to the power of the you type almost any jibber jabber into Google and it knows what you want. So misspellings, particularly on mobiles, chubby thumbs, not being able to type properly on my mobile, on my Nokia 3210. No, it's not really. But what you're saying is that this is taking in-site search to that level of giving people what they want.
So it gives you related search as well, autocomplete search as well, and there is a loads of features you have available in there, because it does not use your own database. It uses its own database, which means your search will be much faster. It just incredibly fast. In terms of getting the results to the customers.
Brilliant. Okay. A bit of future gazing. It's difficult to see into the future. Predictability is not something that you want to do too much of, but just in terms of the way you see things going over the next, say, 12 months in terms of the world of e-commerce, have you got anything that people might find interesting in terms of trends that you're seeing coming through? You're not allowed to say speed at this point.
Okay, no speed this time, I think the trend is digital marketing. People are focusing more on that, and finding the right company is really important, because it can be a game changer. If you have a right platform, you have right digital marketing strategy, then you can convert. You can just make, and that's going to happen more and more because of coronavirus. As you know, all the bricks and mortars are like shut down. People are going more online, and the new players are coming who are also going online. That means they're going to spend a lot of money, and your competition is going to grow and more. So having all that sort of stuff. So like I say to everyone, right? All my clients just say that whether I'm going to get return on investment straight away or not by doing this platform. It's not just doing a website. Just having in there, it doesn't solve the problem. You need to do a lot of stuff. You need to write a lot of content. You need to make sure that the right keywords are there on your pages, and plus it's all that sort of stuff, like your images, how you present stuff for your products to the customers, having like 360-degree videos, stuff like that. It depends on there are a lot of things you could do to make it work. It's not just having a platform there will solve all the problems.
So don't just build a great site and hope it will work. So conveniently, that means that they'll need to talk to agencies like us, which do the performance part of digital marketing.
I think that you will see that it will be a huge growth in terms of the whole e-commerce industry because of this new bug, coronavirus. It's going to affect like how people do shopping now
forever.
So I think it's a new trend.
I agree. And I think the double whammy is also that we've got the economic situation is changing, and that growth today doesn't necessarily mean growth tomorrow for a lot of businesses. That's interesting. So that's good. Okay, so that's really interesting. It's been great talking to you. I could probably carry on asking you lots of questions, but I know you have sites to develop, people to help. In terms of, I know that you don't just as a business do like full-on developments. You'll actually help people that have got very specific problems, whether it be a UX problem or a speed problem or whatever it might be. How would people get in touch with you if they want to talk to you about their Magento site, or even if they're considering looking at Magento? How can they get in touch?
So they can email core@scommercemage.com, or they can go on our website www.scommercemage.com.
Okay, and is that Scommerce Mage all one word, or has it got a hyphen in it?
It's a hyphen in it, yeah.
It's got a hyphen, okay,
Yeah.
so Scommerce Mage with a hyphen in it, .com, contact you through that. Okay, well that's great. Pleasure to speak to you as always, and maybe we'll get back together in a few months and see how things are going and chat about some more things. So thanks for your time, and I hope everybody who's watched it has found it interesting.